Well, hello. It's Volunteer Boers from Connect to Soul with your weekly prosperity and soul wisdom discourse for the week of December 4th, 2017. So, another week has gone by, and in Australia we have begun summer, which is really quite funny because most of November we had a heat wave. And as summer came on the 1st of December, we had torrential rain and flooding, and we're back into winter temperatures. But then I live in Melbourne, and Melbourne has a reputation of having 5 seasons in 5 minutes. Not quite that bad, but yeah, we're back to, around 15. I think it's going to be 14 degrees today, but that's really warm, isn't it? No. So, for this week, I have really no idea what we're going to be talking about, but that's what I like. But before we get into that, I just want to mention that today is full moon. And I like full moon days. I think some people think that it's a day that everything goes a bit haywire, but I guess I'm pretty haywire most of the time anyhow, so that suits me fine. It's a big day for me because tonight is our end of year breakup. We have our Kris Kringle. We have a look at what we have achieved for 2017, what our intent is for 2018, and also I cook dinner for all my lovely spiritual book clubbers and any clients that want to come. So if you have forgotten and you're listening to this and you still want to come, it is at 6:30 this evening, and we will finish tonight with a full moon meditation. What else would you do on a full moon night? So I'm looking forward to that. So if you want to partake of any of my work for 2018, as tonight is the last physical local stuff that I'll be doing for the year. And we start off, of course, with this wonderful achievement plan workshop in Bitten on the 1st of January. And if you want to come, please just send me an email and I'll send you all the details. And all the other links, as usual, are below, and you can contact me there and I will get back to you straight away. So let's see what is in store for us today and what my powers that be, my consciousness would like to discuss with you today. So I'm using, of course, the lovely money and the law of attraction cards from Esther Hicks. And I do like those very much. So let's have a look what wants to come forward. What is that? Okay. It was popping up twice now, so I had to get it. And when I look at it, it's absolutely perfect. Because before I started this recording, I actually had a little chat to the powers that I connect with. My soul, when I connect to that higher energy, to see what would be the most useful for those who are going to be watching this today or any day. So this is the card that I picked, or that they picked, or that fell out, whatever you want to choose. So it says, oh, let me hold it up first maybe. Okay, can I hold it up? Yes. Look, there is a bit of a glare, but you'll just have to work with that. One of the things I've learned over the years, I used to be such a perfectionist. And if it wasn't perfect, I would do this video probably 10 times to get it perfect. Well, you know what? I'm not perfect. And I love it. Because if I was perfect, growth would be over. I'd have to lie down in the box and shut the lid. So I'm not ready for that. So I'm not perfect. You can work with the glare. Now, what it says, my career is one of creating a joyful life experience. Do you know, I find that there seems to be a trend in where my work takes me and takes people. And one of the trends that has been coming up very much in the last couple of weeks, particularly, is this need to have purpose in life. And the understanding that the only purpose life has to be life at all is to create joy and an expansion and love. And anything that isn't that isn't life. It's not life-giving. It's not an expansion of energy. So this is perfect. My career is one of creating a joyful life experience. Absolutely. Why would you be doing anything else? You know, I watch people and they are so busy worrying about things that may never happen or things that happened in the past, none of which we have control over. The things that are gone in the past are done, dusted, we can't change them. And the things that we think that might happen in the future, well, we have no control over that at the moment because it's not happening now. The only thing that we have control over is now, this moment. And in this moment, the only thing we have control over is our thoughts and our feelings and our choices of action. So that is where the power lies. So let's see what the card says. If your dominant intent is to feel joy while you are doing the work, your triad of intentions, freedom, growth, and joy, will come quickly and easily into alignment. It does. See your career as one of creating a joyful life experience. Unfortunately, our education system and our current, particularly in the West, indoctrination of our conditioning is that we have to get a job to pay the bills. Now, once upon a time, and I mentioned this last week, there was a word called vocation, and it was a calling from within. It called life calling you forward into things that you love to do that would come, that would enrich you. Yes? So this is really a follow-up of last week's, which is really lovely. And so if you're out there and your career that you've chosen is not fulfilling you, it's not giving you a joyful life experience, resign. Find something that will. Yes. Really important. Why would you live one moment of this life not being joyful? Why? Because so many becauses that we can't really do that right now. Joy is something that you have to create from within. And you do that through looking at life through the eyes of gratitude, the eyes of love, and constantly seeing the rewards around you. No matter what your challenges are, you know you wouldn't have them if you didn't have the power within to overcome them and to grow from them. It says here, you are not a creator of things or a regurgitator of what someone else has created or a gatherer of stuff. Do you relate to any of those? Is that being you? You are a creator, and the subject of your creation is your joyful life experience. That is your mission. That is your quest. That is why you are here. You know how simple that really is? We have so many stories that we are encumbered with about the shoulds of life. You should be this, and you should be that, and you should be something else. But remember that behind every one of those shoulds is someone else's input, is someone else's story, is someone else's idea of what your life should look like. Why? Because that would make them feel good. But if it doesn't make you feel good, then why do it? We have to become far more discerning and far more assertive about what we will allow and what we will not allow into our lives. It saddens me a lot when I see young people at school, particularly, and how, the peer pressure that we talk about and the bullying. I don't understand it. Why would you spend one moment making someone else's life a misery? And where in your brain does it ever compute that that's going to make you feel better or more popular or more anything? All it's going to do for you is make you less. So we have to change. We have to change the way that we educate. We have to change the way that we teach our children. We have to change ourselves. We have to change the way we look at ourselves, the way we look at our life, the way that we look at the contributions to life, which can come in the form of work, career, job. Yes, these things are very important, but as long as the end result of everything that you do every day is that you add joy to your life, and as a result you add joy to other people's lives, that is a fulfilled life. Paying the bills, that will happen if you do all of the things I just mentioned. They do happen. Life provides. It really does. It provides. I'm always astonished at life. I had to smile because we had this heat wave. And during this heat wave, which went to, over 30 degrees, when we just come out of winter, so that was a bit of a shock to the system, my neighbour across the road decided that he had organised, while his wife was overseas, he had organised that he was going to have a truckload of topsoil thrown on the front garden, and he was going to go and plant it because it's under the shade of a palm tree and nothing else, because lawn wouldn't grow. So he was going to make it a succulent garden and a shade garden. And so there he was, sweating buckets. It was over 30 degrees, and it was the same day that my beautiful gardener came to my house, who then helped him set it all out where he was planting the plants. And anyway, he did a great job, and he sweated and sweated for a day and a half to get it all. And then the next day, when it was even hotter, he had a whole lot of mulch brought in, and it was then spread, and it looked beautiful. It's wonderful. Every time I drive out of my drive, I have this wonderful vista, and it was just baking hot, and I'm thinking, oh, not a good idea to plant, really. Well, the next day and the 3 days following, torrential rain, and I went, oh my Lord, how wonderful is that? That's the universe providing. I see those things as signs, as like, he had this energy about creating this beautiful garden. And so he put all this energy and intent and work into it. And the universe said, well, now you need some water. Well, I love that. I love that. It's like getting your car park. These things happen only when you are aligned with the life force. Because you are a creator, and the subject of your creation is your joyful experience. This is your mission, and that is your quest. That is why you're here. So, what does that mean when you are in the middle of a crisis or in the middle of a challenge? What does that tell you? Well, what it tells you is that somewhere along the line, you have lost connection. You have lost connection with your life force, and you have become trapped in external belief systems that have pushed you in a direction that is not conducive to the expansion into joy for your life force. So then something has to occur, which is usually a crisis, or doesn't always have to be major, but something that is going to make you stop and go, oops, okay, maybe I need to change direction. And what I found that is when you actually knuckle down and you look at what's in front of you that you don't like, and you make the choice to grow from it and to learn from it and to get back to the centered self that you really are, in here, then all the other things, not only do they dissipate, but you become so much more as a result of it. Because all the learning that you've done on the way is amazing. The learning about yourself, what you're capable of, and every challenge that you meet and you come out as a victor, then every time you do that, it gives you confidence that the next time you will go, oh, I know what to do. I know what this is telling me. This is telling me that I've actually just gone off track, and I know what to do now because I've already done it once. I can do it again. But if you allow yourself to get sucked into your dramas in life, and you complain and you whinge and you say, why me and why this and why that, you get stuck in that energy vortex, and it becomes more and more difficult to get out of it, right? So therefore joy seems to slip away further and further and further and further. And that's, of course, when you have this pity party and then you think, well, my life sucks because that out there is not the way I want it. How many of you think that your life is not the way you want it because of what's out there? Now, this is what we talked about last week. And it seems to be very important at this time of the year because it keeps coming up time and time and time again. And that is this understanding that out there is not where your life is. Life is in here. It is time for humanity to come home to who they are, to remember who they really are, that everything is in here. And that makes it so much easier to direct it where you want to go. My career. Do you know, in this lifetime, career-wise, I think I've had about 7. But I just think that each one was just an apprenticeship for where I was going next. My life was just leading me to where I was going next. And what this has allowed me to do is that when I work with people, because I've had so many careers and I've been in so many different fields in life, I have a very broad spectrum of understanding of humanity and human creation. And so that really gives me a foundation that I needed to do the work that I've been doing for the last 30 years. So, wow, that is a long time when I think about it, to be in one profession or in one career, seeing that I've had 7. The others were not quite so long, but nevertheless very impactful. So think about it. When you are changing career, or if whatever career you're in, if it isn't giving you joy in experience, it's time for a change. That's simple. You need to sit down and you need to say to yourself, well, what can I do that will give me a joyful experience? Go do that. Go do that. If your dominant intent is to feel joy while you're doing the work, then freedom, growth, and joy will come quickly. And it will. I feel as if I've been repeating myself a bit. But I honestly, this came out, and therefore whatever happened last week, and now I have a bit more that we're expanding on. It is very important, obviously, that we finish this year with a great understanding of why we're here, because that's the big question. big question that we're asking at the moment, the current book we're reading is Deepak Chopra's latest book, You Are the Universe. And although I love him, it is it's very scientific for some people, but the message is the same. It's the same. Out there is nothing. Everything's in here. We keep hearing the same message over and over and over again, which means it's wake up, wake up, wake up to who you are and live that to the full. Wow, that's big. Now, when I sat down this morning and I asked what were we going to do, I was given that we were going to take 2 soul wisdom cards. One from our usual deck, the Keepers of the Light, which I will do right now. So, okay, you told me to, so what is it that we are so very much needing to hear today? Ooh! Wow, this is an interesting subject. I shall leave that here for a moment. And the other one is from a deck called Energy, which is by Sandra Ann Taylor. And I have used these before. I'm not as familiar with these as I am with the others, but I was given this is what I needed to do because there was something that I needed to talk about. So let's get it done. So if you wanted me to use these, then please give me. Oops. Not all of them at once. I cannot do all of them at once. Clarity, please. And just one card will be fantastic. Wow. Okay then. So, soul wisdom. Again, you know, we're looking at joy and we're looking at... So the first card that came up was hope. Now, I know that those of you who worked with me, sometimes I call hope, you know, having a Dutch heritage for me, hope is like, you know, I used to call it the power of poo, which is not exactly what it means, but can be described as such. And the reason for that is that, you know, hope is a wonderful thing, but we have to go beyond it. Hope is an igniter. You know, it's like the ignition switch on something. But if it doesn't then turn on the engine and it only just keeps igniting and keeps igniting and keeps igniting, then you run out of puff eventually. So for me, it's not that hope isn't necessary. I just think that hope, we need to put it into perspective. And hope is something that we need, but then we need to go beyond that. Yes? And so here is this beautiful, beautiful card called Hope. Love and acceptance. Love is yours. Recognize your divine worth. Choose loving thoughts. Gosh, comes back to the same thing, doesn't it? It comes back to this understanding that it is within you, that you have the power to change your thought to a loving thought. And the most loving of thoughts you can have is for you. Absolutely for you. So, yes, you know, love and acceptance for you, love and acceptance for others. Understanding that every other soul on this planet only wants to feel good, but if they don't know how, then they may react in ways that is not conducive to that. Don't judge them for it. Have compassion and go, wow, I will send you love. I send you acceptance because you are expressing how you feel inside. Love is yours. Love is the energy of creation. It is what makes everything go. So just choose to love. Choose to be love. It's not something you have to do. Just be it. Well, do the best you can. Be love. Not for any reason other than it feels good. So the card that I picked from the energy card is very powerful and is very important because it is something we really need a lot of. As humans, we have chosen this path and we do need a lot of this, and that is the angel of strength. Okay, so that is just magnificent. Now I understand why I needed to pull 2 cards. The angel of strength. Look at that beautiful beautiful lion, and look at the wings on that angel above, the angel of strength. So I really would like to send you the angel of strength this week for whatever you're going to do. You know, they call this the silly season. Back off. Just take a deep breath. There is another day after Christmas. I know. Wow. So what does that mean for soul wisdom? For soul wisdom, it means that, you know, the soul gives you eternal hope. The soul never gives up on its life force. So the soul and life force, you know, we have to use words, unfortunately, to try and express, you know, what we're trying to convey. But soul and hope, they're intertwined because the soul is infinite, so it never runs out of hope. It's always moving forward. It always knows that there is more out there. There's more out there. There's more out there. So if you feel you're stuck today, stop and go, you know what? There's more out there, and I want some. And go out and open yourself up to receive. Yes, it is a season for giving. Please be open to receive. We deserve it. We deserve to give and we deserve to receive. It's not a one-way street. Two sides of the same coin. So, I suggest buy yourself a Christmas present as well as everyone else. So, the angel of strength. It takes strength, it takes courage to step outside the box, to live the life of a conscious, aware being today is still being outside the norm, because there's still so many people that are attached to the media and think that's what life is about. And so I do believe that with each new person that wakes up to be consciously aware, we are getting closer and closer to that 100th monkey, and closer to getting to critical mass. And when we get to critical mass, then we will find the next evolutionary leap of humanity, and an earth that will look very different. It'll look a little bit like what you see behind my window, which is just a beautiful little paradise. I love being surrounded by flora, as you might have noticed. And so I would like to complete today by wishing you hope and wishing you strength. And of course, I send you love as always, because for me, love is given. I give it to me as I give it to you. Have a wonderful week. Please come and visit me if you're local, and if not, remember that I do Skype sessions as well as I do retreats overseas, and I'm available by email. You can find me on Facebook and all of those places, so I'm very available for you to reach me with any questions or anything that you might like to discuss. So have a great week. Don't forget to write your letter to Father Christmas, and I'll see you next week. Be kind to you. Namaste.